Right. Okay. So we should be streaming now on Facebook and on YouTube and hopefully on Axiom Curb, although I'm not quite sure about that. But look, if you're watching an archive version, you might want to fast forward just a few minutes to the top of the hour, about 7 minutes. Alternatively, I'll catch you then. Let's have a good show. We got Tracy Blackwell coming in today to have a chat about her search for justice coming up. Up in the morning. Tracy, can you hear me? Tracy Blackwell. Oh, I might have lost you. Hi, Tracy. Oh, okay. Just a couple of minutes, folks. Fly. Right, blimey, I'll tell you what, let's get on with this. Crying out loud. folks. Good evening, good people. And welcome to the Daily Chaos. The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. And now, seeking justice. Tracy Blackwell, whose son Josh died with two friends George and Harry in a car accident earlier this year, is fighting what she calls a police cover-up of the facts of the tragedy. Tracy, along with Harry's parents, Nicola Sals and Ian Rice, joining me and taking your calls from the bottom of the hour on Discord. That's on guv.li/rant. I see we've got Predator Jeff here, God bless him. And we got Sam. Sam's here. Hey, Sam.
Hi, Ollie.
How are you? All right?
I'm not bad.
Good. Tracy, you can hear me, yeah?
I can hear you clearly.
Okay, just a minute or so. And we'll see you in the comments. If you want to bung us a beer, big cheers, please do. PayPal.me/Brexit. You can share the show, like that thing and all that. Let people know that we're talking what... Oh, blimey, whatever. Got to talk. Okay, let's have a look, see what's going on in the world of fake stream. Just briefly, a few stories. Sam's with us from the top of the hour. Sam, are you going to look after our calls on Discord today to try and organise this a bit? Please.
I'll try.
Good, thank you. We need to make sure that everybody gets heard as much as possible. But we'll take calls from the bottom of the hour, yeah? So just go through a few stories. And Tracy, if you have any things you'd like to say about this, but most of the papers are obviously leading on this wedding, I tell you what, it'd be good to get it out of the way, huh? Meghan's dad or whatever. It's just all that, isn't it? Look at that. Economy is at a menopausal moment, according to the Bank of England. I don't know, some politically incorrect or whatever. Anyway, it's just distraction, isn't it? Just distraction. Erdogan is urging the Islamic world to unite against Israel. In the wake of the all the death going on over there surrounding the new embassy for the US in Jerusalem. Remainers will do lasting damage to UK democracy by blocking Brexit, rages MP. This really just sums up what's going on now. Brexiteer Owen Paterson issued a stark warning to MPs seeking to frustrate the Brexit process, claiming their interference could cause lasting damage to British democracy. Owen Paterson called out members of the House of Commons who don't support the government's Brexit strategy. Ardent Brexiteers have suggested pro-Remain MPs are seeking to frustrate the Brexit process by supporting major amendments to the Union Withdrawal Bill. Talking of which, the Lords in fresh older, Brexit attack.
You have grandchildren, and I'm fortunate to have three wonderful grandchildren.
Okay, let's just hear this typical Ramoning type stuff coming out of the Lords. Yeah?
But with that pleasure comes a responsibility to care about their future. And this amendment is about caring for the future of our grandchildren. And it's not just about...
Yeah, like other people don't. The House of Lords has dealt yet another blow to Theresa May's landmark Brexit bill and voted to keep the UK tied to the European Union's environmental rules after the split.
A healthy environment for the future.
This afternoon's vote marks the 50th defeat the government has suffered at the hands of the peers. The Lords voted by 294 to 244. Supporters of the amendment said it will ensure continued environmental protection as well as establishing a powerful watchdog. Do you get a bit frustrated with the Lords basically Are they not sort of supposed to be rubber stamping what is, after all, the government's manifesto? I know they got in with a wafer-thin majority, but nonetheless, they still are in power with, presumably a manifesto that they ran on. Tracy?
Not a political person, so
Tracy, I
I
can't hear you.
don't get a lot of left wing, right wing, and so on and so
Tracy,
on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I'm sorry. I had the fader down. Please, sorry. Go on. Tell me. What do you think, Tracy?
I'm the people will listen to, but it seems like at the end of the day they have their own agenda, pushing it back for as much as and as long as they can.
Yeah, completely. Do you see any semblance of Brexit with what's going on, or do you think we're headed for Brino? For basically stay, or just rehash what we got kind of thing, plus give them a load of money and lose our veto in the process. Tracy, can you get a bit closer to your microphone, please, my dear?
Out should mean out. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I don't know. Last night we had Caroline Stevens on the show. I don't know if you know Caroline, who's was the Brexit spokesperson for Unity in Action, for example, involved in two of the major Leave campaigns during the referendum, and is now setting up a new movement, basically encouraging independents to run on a ticket for Brexit, or what their constituents want in their constituency. I don't know. I mean, we got to have a change. Anyway, and distraction. Well, I don't know. I mean, could be a very important story, of course, but it's kind of getting in the way as well. Kim threatens to cancel summit with Trump. Will he, won't he? Will they, won't they? Whatever. We know the problems that we've got. Movement renationalizes East Coast mainline train service. I don't know. Apparently, the guys that bought it decided that they were losing too much money and they wanted the British purse to lose the money instead or something. I don't know how they got away with that. Yeah, right. Okay. I'll tell you what. Should we just get into having a bit of a chat, Tracy? And so you are. You have a terrible story to tell. I'm very sorry to hear about your son, Josh, and about George and Harry that lost their lives just this year. I understand that it was some kind of a car accident. Can you please explain what did happen?
Yeah, we would never refer to it as an accident. 6th of January 2018 this year, a driver was speeding, onto a pavement and killed our 3 children. They were all friends. The car actually narrowly missed 2 other children. That doesn't get mentioned in the media. And we're fighting for justice because we believe it was a deliberate act, which the Met Police and the CPS have covered up.
So what actually happened was that a car came the other way and it mounted the guy was recklessly driving and mounted the curb, or?
Oh, it was precision driving. It was flawless. He wasn't recklessly driving. Papers and on the media, it was flawless driving. We only a few days ago actually only saw the CCTV footage to it. We was led to believe a completely different story to what we saw on the CCTV. Plus, there was a collision report that stated he had full control of the car the whole time. Yet in court, they said the complete opposite to what the pivotal point of evidence was.
Which was what?
It was a deliberate act.
Go on, Tracy. Thanks, Sam. Go on.
you, Sammy. Exactly. The opposite to that it was a deliberate act. They said in court, they said he lost control of the car, clipped the curb, mounted the pavement and killed the boys. And on the media, they said they were standing at the bus stop. They were not standing at a bus stop. They was walking.
Okay.
To the evidence.
So hold on a sec. Sorry, Tracy. Just take me through that again, so that I'm clear on this, because this is what the case as you say, pivots on. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
This is your main. This is your problem with what with the police investigation is this discrepancy. Is that correct? This particular discrepancy, particularly.
It's a massive, massive discrepancy. You cannot say the opposite. Take a report to the opposite of what it says, and that's what was done in court. Even our own QC that was chosen by the court, we didn't choose him, said the opposite, did not refer to the evidence.
Can you explain this discrepancy to me again, please, just so that we're absolutely clear?
Bear with me, Ian's gonna speak, which is Harry's dad.
All right.
Hi, Ollie.
Hey,
Hi, Ollie.
Ian. Ian, thank you. Ian Wright.
Right, Ollie. What this whole the pivotal point of this whole matter is this: he overtook a car at speed.
Right.
He went in the central hatchings.
He went. Sorry. Can you get a bit closer to the microphone, Ian, please?
Okay. Right. Which bit didn't you hear?
I heard that he overtook another car, and that was it.
That's what they try and say.
He overtook a vehicle at speed.
Right.
Okay. Central hatchings of this road, which is so marked out if you were doing a right turn into a garage. Okay.
Okay.
He then.
You're breaking up, Ian. You're breaking up, sir.
Right. There was a bollard. Him. He then swerved and then carried on for about 150 meters. Okay. When he arrived at 150 meters, where the first two boys were, he curved. He knocked two of the boys to one side, plowed into the three boys, and making sure he plowed into them, he completely mounted the curb with all four wheels. He killed all three of them by driving alongside the wall and alongside the railings of the cemetery. Because my son Harry was trapped on the car, on the bonnet of the car, he probably couldn't see a lamppost with Harry on it, into the railings, into a brick wall. He then spun diagonally for about 50 meters, where he came to rest in front of three other friends crossing the road. The judge at the time quite correctly said we could have been looking at 8. Now, the whole point of this is this.
Ian, you do keep breaking up. Just get as close to that microphone as you can, please.
Close,
Thank you.
yeah, okay. Right, now the main point to all of this is this, which was never referred to in the court, and that is the crash report, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the crash report clearly states by the officer in charge, the person had total control of the car. He never lost control of the vehicle at all, at any stage. Mm-hmm. Then goes on to say, there's no explanation for him turning left. He hit the boys, apart from to say, in my opinion, it might have been the alcohol in the system. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that's the first point. That was never brought up in the court by our barrister, who actually he's working for us, but he's the Crown barrister. The judge never once referred to that crash report. Wouldn't bring it up because that was pretty damning to them if they had.
The judge didn't once refer to the crash report.
Never once, and it was never pointed out.
The opposite.
Why?
Yeah, and
why
it was never once
on earth
pointed
not?
out.
Why on earth not? And so what was the opposite that was said then?
The opposite was said was he came at speed. He overtook a car, clipped the curb, mounted it, and killed the boys.
Which was untrue.
Right? There's no such thing as that. He travelled 150 metres down the road, swerved to miss the bollard. You expected it to be, he was right on top of the bollard, a few metres from there. He was far from it. A perfect manoeuvre. You would say a professional manoeuvre at speed. It is not the widest road in the world, but his manoeuvre was absolutely, as Tracy said, flawless. He did not clip the curb. He travelled along in a straight line until he had seen the boys. Now, had the guts to have said, reason for him to turn left, in my opinion, I would say it was a slightly suspicious manoeuvre.
This is in the report. Ian.
Olly, say
Ian,
again.
sorry, you broke up there again. What you're saying now is what's in the report, yeah?
What he has written in the crash report in black and white.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But if he had said, instead of saying all I can put it down to was the alcohol in the system, said,
which is a presumption.
in my opinion, it was a suspicious manoeuvre. Would have been 3 counts of murder and 2 attempted murders. They've agreed to that. He didn't have the guts to stand up and say that. And that was because from a very early point, they decided it was a road traffic accident. Down and not to create any tension between the community, because it is quite
you're breaking up here and we're losing a lot of what you're saying, sir.
Okay, it is quite populated by the Asians.
What is?
Community where the accident took place.
Now this is really, I'll tell you, this is so frustrating because we're getting so much cut off here.
I'm sitting right up to it.
I know. I don't think it's your fault. I'll tell you what you could do. You're using a Discord client, aren't you, on that machine? If you could, Tracy, do you know how to go into the user settings? It might be something we can do to help with this. That's in the settings there.
Okay, I'm in the settings.
Thank you. If you go into voice and video again.
I'm in there.
All right. Now we discussed this earlier, and Tracy very, very kindly got on Discord for the show. You see where it says input mode, Tracy, voice activity and push to talk. Leave it as it is on voice activity, but underneath that there is the sensitivity, the input sensitivity. Can you see that? Bring it down a bit. Bring it down into the green. I don't know, about to a third of the way along or a quarter of the way along, and then we'll have another go. Or turn it off. In fact, turn it off. Yeah, turn it off if you can, and that might be better, because I think what it's doing is it's saying, I don't know. I think it's playing silly buggers. I might be wrong. Anyway, do that and escape out of those settings, and we'll carry on as best we can, Ian, if we can.
Cutting out a lot.
I don't know. I'll tell you in a minute. So, okay. So the judge, why on earth did he dismiss that crash report? What was wrong with it in the estimation of the Crown to dismiss it?
We cannot answer that question, only the fact that it was never, ever referred to in court. The CCTV or the collision report, which was the evidence, was never, ever referred to.
And presumably you've asked the police about this.
You're cutting out, Ollie.
Oh, I'm sorry. And presumably you have asked the police about this.
I've put in, I missed the last bit of what you're saying, but I know you're saying that we asked the police something.
Yes, did you? What did they say?
We put in an official complaint against the police prior to sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
For 2 hours with the CPS. explaining why we felt it was deliberate, because it's not just this. There's been a lot of things along the way. It's from the police.
So what other sort of things have there been then? Because I mean, we're talking about a miscarriage of justice, essentially, aren't we? Is your allegation, is what you're saying, and what the omission of this report, this kind of evidence would suggest. Was this crash report was an official police crash report?
Yeah, it's an official report. It's a collision report. It was a pivotal part of the evidence, and they never ever referred to it.
Was there more than one report, or was there just one report?
No, you have interim reports and things like that, and then it's put into a collision report. And it's also the same that the car behind that particular person also wrote a statement, and they only ever read 2 lines of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can hear you. And
the actual case, on the morning of the sentencing, we had a meeting with our QC. Yes, again. And our own QC, with under an hour to go to court, changed our impact statements. Now, that is illegal. Once you write an impact statement on a witness statement paper and you sign it, no one is allowed to change it. You can add an additional piece of paper, but our own QC scrubbed out words that was in our impact statement, taking the impact out of our impact statement, and that's against the law to change that.
Why?
I wish I could answer that question.
So hold on a sec. Your own QC was debasing your case.
Exactly. It's the same QC who never referred to the collision report.
Well, it is most peculiar. And so what steps have you taken to complain about this officially, and what sort of responses have you received?
Right, okay. So my local MP is Nick Hurd. I've had quite a few meetings with him, many emails and loads of phone calls. We've written to the Attorney General, because like I said, we was fighting this before sentencing. We knew this was going to be a miscarriage of justice because we knew he was on the wrong charge. The MP, Nick Hurd, has also backed up our letter to the Attorney General. Now, the Attorney General wrote back...
Dominic Grieve, no? Go on, Tracy. You're breaking up now.
Hello? Can't hear you, Olly.
Oh, I'll tell you. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with this telephony. There should be no problem here. You know,
Olly, the only one that's problem is you. I can hear her fine. It's you that keeps cutting off.
Really?
Yes.
It's very odd. I'm not using my VPN. I'm streaming up to Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. Are you hearing me cut off at all on Facebook, on YouTube? And presumably you can hear the guests. I think it's happening on Discord, and I don't understand why. And I'll tell you, I wonder if people are playing with this. I really do. I'm sorry. Anyway, Tracy, can you hear me?
Like Sammy said, I can hear Sammy very clearly as well. You just keep cutting in and out, Olly. That's what it is. So sometimes it's hard to pick up what you're actually saying or asking me.
Okay, yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kick myself off the server and join it again. Hopefully that'll help. So I'll see you in a sec.
What
a pain. What a pain, huh? So anyway, is that any better?
It seems to be.
Well, we'll keep a look at it, and I'll see if I can improve my settings at all in the meantime.
No.
What?
No, it's rubbish, Olly. You keep going off again.
What about that? Is that any better? If I do that? Is that any
Yeah,
better
that's
now?
a bit better.
Is it? Really?
That is, yeah.
Ah, okay, cool. I just learned something about a Discord setting. I don't know if that made a difference, but anyway, good. Right. Fine.
So
So,
back to the MP.
you've been to your MP. How and how active is your MP on this? Then, what sort of reception are you getting from your MP?
Well, he's quite slow, but the other fact of my local MP is also the Minister of Policing.
Really?
So anyway, going back to the Attorney General, we wrote a letter to the Attorney General regarding the sentencing and regarding the facts.
Yes.
Backed up that letter, which is our MP. We received a letter back from the Attorney General saying that the collision report served to the court and the defence. So we've then had to write back again and said whether it was served or not, it was never referred to. It was never mentioned.
Go on, Tracy.
It was never mentioned, so we're now waiting for another letter back from the Attorney General. We've asked the Attorney General to look at the collision report himself and to look at the CCTV evidence himself instead of listening to what the CPS is telling him.
And have you spoken to the local paper, the local rag, to try and get their interest?
Right, Ollie, as regarding to the mainstream media, which includes the TV and the paper, every time we've spoken to them, they've never printed what we have said. I've been told by someone the other day that it's all political.
You were told by who? Sorry, or you?
I said I was told by someone the other day that this was political, and that's the issue, and that's why no one is printing it.
So, in what way is this political then?
Can't answer that question, because if I did, then I'd have many answers of why they've covered it up.
Is it the case that there is a political correct stroke common purpose mentality behind this cover-up, possibly?
Yeah, possibly that is the answer. I wish I had many answers. I can presume answers, but then that's just my
sure, Tracy. Yeah,
but that's exactly what I believe it to be.
It's the only explanation that would make any sense in the kind of climate that we're in. It has to be said. Let's take a few comments from a few folks, and then maybe Sam, if you'd like to look after our folks on Discord, pull them in. Right, okay. So we got Stab, Woodcutter. No, it's about your pocket, your lordship. The British Hive Mind. Have I seen the CCTV footage of this? Or was it a different incident? That's Hive Mind is on after the show at 8 o'clock. guv.li/hive. David Wolf. Paul Reese Ham says it's a state cover-up. Predator Jeff, who's on here on Discord now, he says, Ollie, you've left me in the green room again. Look, I'll tell you what, he doesn't listen, does he? We take calls from the bottom of the hour when we got guests, yeah, so we try and be a little bit less chaotic. They're all common purpose trained, says Chris Rumbold. Tracy, do you know the meaning of common purpose when people say that?
No, I don't. Can you explain it to me, Ollie, please?
Sam, go on. Well, in fact, I'll tell you what, we've got Predator Jeff here. Jeff, would you please explain to us what common purpose is?
Common purpose, as far as I'm aware, is what's taken over local government. So it's like, for example, you've got the Bilderbergs have taken over central government, and you've got common purpose has taken over local government and the education system and the NHS, and they've got their tentacles into everything, as far as I'm aware, and they just drive everything into complete pandemonium. It's like the way they're destroying the NHS. They drive everything into complete pandemonium and then strip the shit out of it, like asset wise, as far as I can tell.
We got Simon Dawson here too, and Thomas Whitelock. Look, Sam, I'm going to leave you to organise these folks. This is an experiment, yeah. I don't know if she's probably, I don't know, feeding the dog or something. I don't know, where's she gone now? Oh dear. Simon, what do you think of that explanation?
He's muted.
As far as I can tell, what they do is they implement, what do they call it? Not the protocols of Zion, the other one, the Frankfurt School of Subversion Techniques. That's it. So what they do is they get into an organization, yeah, and then they use the Frankfurt School techniques to disrupt everything and tear it apart.
Yeah, basically rip up your culture and everything else, and confuse the hell out of you, and divide and rule, and.
Chris Boozy is the best person to ask about this.
Yeah, Chris is always very good.
I've just asked him to call in.
Good value. Okay, all right. Yeah, Debbie Shaw, common purpose, culling people. John Alfred Tomat Bejan says, because the cult of peace is involved. Glenn Rocky Teal, Ollie, do you want me to come on and change the server? Glenn, you're always welcome to come on, mate. I hope you do. You don't come on enough. Hey? In fact, you could do it right now. Who's that? Tracy. Tracy, please. Go on.
I was going to say, Ollie, it's not that all common purpose people are bad or whatever. There's some good ones in there, some bad ones. It's a bit like the Freemasons. You got some good ones, you got some bad ones, yeah? But it's all compartmentalized. Mm-hmm. So the people at the bottom of it don't really know what's going on and what the agenda is behind it, yeah? So
no, that's right. Okay, well, there's another good example of this, Tracy. I think I saw a video, I think it was you, talking about the Football Lads Association, the Football Lads Alliance march on the weekend. Now, you're going to be speaking at that, aren't you?
I certainly am, yeah, because we're all united in grief, you know, with Manchester.
Yes,
we believe
and this is in Manchester at the weekend.
We believe the same ideology that contributed to the bombing of those poor people and to our children.
Okay, you get closer to your microphone, please. And one of the things that's going on, I understand, at the weekend is that there's going to be a counter protest in Manchester. So the FLA demonstration, really, march, is in memory of those that lost their lives at Manchester, particularly. And they're being branded fascists, aren't they, by these real fascists, really, these Antifa lot, no? I understand there's going to be a counter-protest. The reason I bring this up, I wanted to anyway, in case anybody wants to, support that. Is it Saturday or Sunday, Tracy?
It's on Saturday, Ollie, and I'm really, really glad you have brought this up, because I did do a video on this, because when I came across it on Facebook, I was absolutely horrified and disgusted, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happened on the 6th of May. We was at the Freedom of Speech March on the 6th of May. Absolutely fantastic march. There was at least 30 to 50,000 people there. A nice peaceful march. The newspaper the next day said there was 2,000 to 3,000. It said racist. There was nothing of the sort. And this is the problem, because the media can make the innocent look guilty and the guilty innocent, and they control the masses, don't they?
They do. Go on.
I just wanted to say it was an amazing speech you done on last Sunday, Tracy.
Glenn Rocky Teal. Go on, Glenn.
You literally touched the hearts of everyone. Everyone was standing with you, and we continue to. All the parents, all of you parents of the boys. I think this is hitting a lot of people, and you've got a lot of backing and a lot of support, Tracy. So keep going, and we're all behind you.
And thank you very much. I cannot tell you what that actually means to all three families. That's why we are, we speak from the heart. I speak from the heart. and you know, I speak what I see as the truth. Like I said, I'm a trainer in safeguarding of people, and that's what I believe we have to do here. We need justice for our sons, and we need justice for every British person, because we are not the only, our children are not the only murders that are being covered up. If you look at the spike of murders since January to now, there is so many, the amount of cars that, you know, are mounting the pavements, and each time it's not terror related. But
Really?
ours
Shootings in Birmingham as well.
How many?
Glenn.
What sort of statistics are we looking at, Tracy?
Don't know the statistics yet. I get a lot. I am going to compile them, but you know, I have such a heavy workload as well as going through trauma.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of research, I'm sure, and very difficult to, particularly if it's being covered up. We've got Simon Dawson here as well. Simon, can you hear us?
He's muted, Olly.
He's not muted by me. He's just muted himself, and he did unmute because I heard him very low, and I've turned his audio up to the maximum here so we can hear him. So Simon, please, finally, we could get a conversation together on. I know you've tried so many times. Thomas, what would you like to say, sir? Thomas Whitelock.
First off, I'd like to give my sympathy to Tracy and her family and the other two boys who were sadly killed. Wasn't no accident whatsoever.
Thank you,
I
Simon.
wasn't there, but what I've seen, and I don't mean in the papers, what I've seen, it was a deliberate act, and it was maybe someone's scared of saying it, but it was done by a Muslim, and the same sort of thing, cover up.
Thank you,
You
Simon.
think it was a cover up, Thomas?
No doubt whatsoever, it was definitely a cover up, because they didn't. What it is, the Muslims. I'm not afraid to say anything about Muslims. The Muslims are here to take the country over. A white guy runs a guy over. He may not have even run him over, but he died. He would have died anyway. It was medically fact that he would have died anyway of an heart attack. He got 43 years. And I think the guy who killed these three boys got 13 years or something silly like that.
Yeah, he will be out in 6 years, and if he gets behaviour, it's 4.5. And just reiterating what Simon is saying there, the person he's actually talking about, which is Darren Osborne, his home was searched, his laptop was searched, his computer was searched. This person that murdered our 3 children, his home was not even searched.
Really?
I can quite believe that. Because the police nowadays have to get in touch with the leaders of the whichever group they're in, the Muslim group, to ask permission to go and search their property. They've got to take their shoes off before they go in the property, which is totally wrong. They're in our country. He should be treated exactly the same as what we're treated.
That's right. I agree.
The help from Saudi Arabia, Mohammed, every MP. If we could check all their bank balances, I bet they've increased in the past 2 years, and I bet you any money. And I don't, not wages from the taxpayers neither.
They're backhanders.
Exactly, Glenn.
I also think they're too scared as well. It seems like our own establishment, our own police force, and this is only a presumption. I don't know this as a fact, but I feel like they're also too scared to get branded a racist for searching someone's home that has just murdered 3 children. Do you know what they actually said to us? They said, no, we couldn't get a Section 18, when you can get that if someone steals milk from Tesco's.
Exactly, yeah.
Why couldn't they get a Section 18?
They said, but we did go round there and people were sleeping, so we didn't go in. And I said, you ever heard anything like that in your life? 3 children been murdered.
Tracy, that's because the Muslims, if there's a woman in the property and she's asleep, or there's children in the property that's asleep, you can check these facts up. This is not fiction. This is fact for everybody to hear. If a Muslim commits a crime, whether it's drugs, stabbing someone, or whatever, the police, the community police officer, which is probably a Muslim, will see the community leader, who is also a Muslim, and he will get permission to search that property. And he cannot go in that property without taking their shoes off, no matter what they're going in for. They have to take the shoes off and leave them at the door. They have to have permission. They cannot take a dog into the property to search the house for drugs.
Really?
It's
So
haram to have dogs in the house.
By
It's
the
what?
By the time they've got permission to search that property, if there's any evidence in that property, it's well gone.
Yeah.
The only time that they will turn that property over, and they know there's a bomb involved, and that's if they want to stop it for the public's, not so much for the public's interest, but to let the public think that they're doing the job. I know all this because I've done it. They go to a property. Say, for instance, they got information, and it's very close information that members of the public might even have this information. And there's only males in that property. They will go in heavy-handed, turn the property over, make arrests, and they'll make sure the cameras are everything there, so the members of the public, meaning the British people, can see all this and think that the police are doing their job. The police are not doing their job. Their hands are tied. The police would like to do their job better. But the governments, whether it's Conservative, Labour, Lib Dems or whoever, they've all had backhanders, so their hands are tied. If they comply with the law, and the people who have paid the money say, "Oh, sod this, we give you 42 million quid yesterday, or more, or whatever the figures may be," they're frightened that they will end up going to jail because they took backhanders, so everything's covered up. And this is why I got the sack from the job that I was doing. And believe me, the only way this country is ever going to get control of this country is if everybody goes on strike. It hurts their pockets, it's bad publicity, and it may take a month, it may take a week. But until you do that, you're going to be scuffled. The Muslims are going to take over. And I'll tell you now, there is not going to be any Brexit whatsoever. You hear Theresa May saying we're having a close community relationship with France and Europe. You may think you're going to be leaving the EU, but you're not. You're going to be in a worse position now, well, when it's all done, than what we're in now. Unless the country get together and actually do something, it's just a waste of time. Doing little marches is great. It's a little bit of publicity, but it's only publicity on Facebook or YouTube or whatever other outlet. It's not going to get on a TV because it'll all be blanketed. And that's why the press do not cover things. And Tracy, did you get a copy of your full depositions of your trial?
We've got absolutely nothing at the moment, Thomas, because what they're still saying to us at the moment is that the passenger is still under investigation, and while he's under investigation, we can't have anything.
Well, you want to see it, even MPs you can't trust them, but you need to get a copy of your depositions, and once you get them, make them public.
Why is the passenger still under investigation, Tracy? Is that an unconnected case, or?
They do not answer that question when we ask them. Whenever we ask, they just say there's things we can't tell you. Well, they've never told us anything on anything.
Okay, let's go on, Tracy, go on.
You know, I researched the driver pre-sentencing and I couldn't find him anywhere in the UK prior to 2010. I questioned the police on this and they were very adamant towards me and said, I'm telling you now, he was born here in Hillingdon.
Who said that? Who
this
said
was
that?
The police.
They said he was born in the UK, in Hillingdon.
And then when I was at a CPS meeting, it came out he wasn't born here. So the same police officer, that said that to me. I said, why did you lie and tell me he was born here? And she never answered the question.
Okay, let's take a few comments. David Laddie, what about guilt by association? Maureen Smith, the people have the power. It's up to all of us to take back control. And well said, Thomas, by the way, mate. Debbie Shaw, look up historical reasons as to why the EU was going to fail. Maggie Thatcher nailed it. And the EU answer is to introduce the Muslim issue to unite us one way or another. David Laddie simply says, drain the swamp. Debbie Shaw, did you all know there are studies about making people do things that go against their moral fiber equals the government are fully in control? And yeah, there are all sorts of stuff and things that go on. And it makes you wonder about some of the gun attacks that you see stateside particularly as well. Islamic cult runs the country, says Stuart Firth. Maureen Smith, what the hell is our law about? Come on, common law, not Sharia. Paki Bashir, infidels are not allowed to criticize Islam and must stand under Sharia because Britain is now Islamic controlled. Amanda Thompson, I think racism is used as an excuse. The police are told to react differently. Let me pull your attention, everybody, to a story that's quite relevant on Breitbart today. As Swedes drawn to honest foreign coverage of their own country, the MSM slams nasty immigration stories. But I think that this sounds as though that this has got something to do with it, yeah? The deputy editor of Sweden's Expressen slammed Danish media as nasty for being more open about mass migration, complaining that many voters, especially populist supporters, were losing faith in the mainstream media. In an editorial for Expressen, Karen Olsen complained that voters for the populist anti-mass migration Sweden Democrats were distrustful of Swedish media and that they would likely support the nasty Danish media, who she explains have fewer limits when talking about mass migration and Islam. In her own piece, Olsen cited a survey conducted by the Institute of Media Studies, which showed that only 63% of their voters for SD trusted the reliability of the Swedish mainstream media. And this is almost, it's a seemingly intractable, it seems to be a problem that we just can't counter, Tracy. The media is just hell-bent on globalization and isn't interested in covering the reality on the ground.
They don't want people to know, just like how they lied about the march on the 6th of May, and just how we're going to have a counter demonstration when everybody there from the LFA, including myself and Harry's parents and George's parents, were there to, remember the Manchester bombing victims. And then you've got this other group that are there saying we're racist. It's absolutely ludicrous. They do that to keep a divide, and that's what it's all about. And just wanted to say as well, thank you to Thomas for his input, and also the thing that Thomas said about everyone, going on strike, not going to work. I totally get where he's coming from, but we're going to get a lot of people say they need to live, so it makes it impossible.
Yes,
for that to happen, but that would be the way it would happen. But I feel like with the situation we've been put in, believable, and I knew it was bad out there, but not to the extent it is. And it is bad, and people need to know. They need to know. I almost feel like we've been sold out.
It's absolutely rife.
Yeah, Tracy, you have my deepest respect, love. Honest to God, you do.
Go on, Glenn. Glenn Rocky Teal. What were you going to say, mate?
The problem, it's rife. The problem out there is rife. It's to a point now where we have to literally ditch the work and get on the streets.
The thing is, there's still no debate, despite, for example, the news stories about London and the crime figures there. Not just in London, but the crime figures they are astronomical. They are absolutely going through the roof. It's so bloody obvious. And yet, where's the debate? We're talking about all the...
They won't allow one.
Yeah, the police has been cut for the purpose.
People, Tracy, do you think, and everybody, do you feel that as in Sweden it was only a cross-section of society, and it was one particular party, so maybe it wasn't the strongest angle, but do you think that people are beginning to wake up, or have woken up, at least to the fact that, for example, BBC News is propaganda?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot more people, sorry, Sammy, I think there's a lot more people that have woken up and are speaking out. I know from people I've spoken to, it is now the time that we have to start rising up and saying enough is enough. If they can cover up our children's murders, children or adults have to be murdered till enough is enough. It needs to stop now, and that's what we aim to do.
But in terms of the debate, because
what we need,
go on.
What
Who's
we
that?
need,
Sam?
Ollie,
Sam.
we need an alternative news channel on mainstream TV. There needs to be a new alternative news channel.
Like InfoWars sort of thing.
No, not like InfoWars.
No, being completely separate to the mainstream. That's what I mean. I don't mean exactly.
Not controlled by any corporation, controlled by people. Only people.
I just don't think they'd ever let it happen, Sammy.
No.
Yeah,
But we have
that's
to
it.
fight. That's what we have to fight for. Because not enough people are hearing. Not enough.
It now.
You know, they play down marches to 2,000 to 3,000 so that people sit back and think, well, it's not worth us going. Where if they realise there was 30 to 50, and that's only going to grow, you know. But the way they portray these people, as racist, and they're not. These are people that have been fighting for this country for years. These are honourable people, and they're being portrayed as something else.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why people need to go to these marches, and the march in Manchester, and not just the 23rd of June for the Brexit. It should be for everything. It should be for freedom of speech. It should be for the justice for our kids, justice for the people that have been killed, justice for every person that just wants to live a free, normal life.
Exactly. Here. And like I said, with our children, you know, that's when it hit home the magnitude of what was going on here in this country. The disrespect that our children have been shown, the disrespect that we have been shown. You know, our own family liaison officer the whole way through never had a phone, so we could never contact her. We was treated like we was just a number, and our children didn't matter. Well, they mattered to us, and the British people matter to us.
Yeah, and your kids matter to the British people.
Exactly.
Yes.
And Tracy, I was on this show, well, not this show. I was on the Daily Brexit last year.
Go on, Tom.
And I was saying, just before I got arrested on this show, after I'd been on the show and I got arrested and was in the police station for 7 days, the people, the British people, you're just numbers, and that's all you've been for the past 10 years.
Yeah,
and if not longer,
until the people decide. See, there's a lot of people who have. I'm not just saying this. There's people who've got egos. They won't want to march with this, and they won't want to do that, and they don't want to do this, and they don't want to do that. And the thing is, no matter what your reason is, whether it's to leave the EU, whether it's to stop kids getting raped, or people being run over, or whatever it is, someone somewhere has got to one day wake up and say, fuck this, let's do it. Because if you don't, if you keep sitting back, and I know there's loads and loads and loads of people out there who are doing their best to let people know and to get the message out. But until we all do it together, you'll still get the same result as what we're getting now, and that's nothing. Yeah. You're not even getting any publicity. We're not. If we do get any publicity, there was a little bit of publicity over the Khan thing. That was because the cameras were already there and they wanted to be nosy. When you do marches in the future, except for the ones that have already been booked, you've got to try and sort out a march or a stand or whatever without informing the police.
Yeah,
because the minute the police are informed, say you give them a week's notice or a couple of days' notice, the police get in touch with all the media outlets and they say such and such a group, far right group, are doing a protest or whatever. We don't want no coverage of it. The papers or the TVs will not go near you. Right. You might send someone out there to see if there's any trouble and capture that, but they won't go there. But the minute everybody turns up at a certain thing for a certain date and a certain time, and they all go, "What the hell's this? There's 100,000 or 200,000 or 1 million people here. What are they there for?" The media will be all over you because they want to know what's going on, and so will the government, and so will the police.
Well, you say that, but how many marched? The FLA march in London? What, there were some estimates of 70,000. I heard
70,000. Yeah,
there were tens of thousands, and there was bugger all coverage. Thomas,
I was on that one. That was after the Manchester Arena bombing.
We've got Simon Dawson here. Simon, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Simon, at last! Whoa, we've been trying to do this for weeks. Simon, how are you?
Nice to hear you, but
Did you have a question?
TV.
Did you have a question for Tracy, Simon, or anything you wanted to say particularly?
I did to Tracy, and she's going to get justice. I'll tell you now, she's going to get justice because the FLA and Tommy's going to give them justice, and we're going to march for justice, and we are going to march for the justice of the kids of this tyrannous government what's acting under the George Soros and the infrastructure of putting the Islamic State onto us. And it's all Agenda 21. Everything is under Agenda 21. And we need to understand that it's all to create us the fear. The fear is the fear on terrorists, and they've let them in. The government's let them in. The government's done everything to let them in, to create fear, because people are waking up. People are waking up to what's going on. They're waking up to what's going on in this parliament, and everyone in parliament is a corporation. They are corporations. They don't work for you. They've never worked for you, and they will never ever work for you no more. They will work for themselves to pocket and profit.
Simon Dawson. Simon Dawson. I'll tell you what, it was absolutely worth the wait hearing you finally on Discord.
Hear, hear.
It's that time of day, folks. It's beer o'clock. I want to say a big cheers to Tracy Blackwell. Thank you, Tracy, so much. You're a very brave lady. Thank you. And Nicola Sowles and Ian Rice, thank you very, very much for popping in and having a chat with us.
Thank you, Thomas, Simon, Sammy and Glenn.
God bless you, Tracy, and God bless all of you. Your prayers and thoughts always with you all.
We'll get
Thank
it
you
done,
very
Tracy.
much. Thank you for your support.
We'll get it done, Tracy. Don't you worry. We're going to have justice, darling.
I agree with that.
So that march is on the 19th, folks. That's on Saturday, yeah? In Manchester. Where are people meeting up, Tracy? Where are you speaking, specifically?
It's at Castlefield Bowl in Manchester, in memory of the Manchester bombing victims.
Castlefield Bowl. And at what time?
12 o'clock, as far as I'm aware. I'm there a bit earlier, but I think it's 12 o'clock.
And that's Saturday, yeah? That is Saturday, yeah? That is Saturday,
Tracy,
not Sunday.
Does Tracy understand that it were all organised?
Can I just say something, Ollie?
Cool, Jeff, blimey, I'm sorry, mate. Oh, you must hate me, man. I tell you, I haven't.
No, that's all right, mate. I just want to say something.
How are you?
Right?
Yeah.
We live in a physical universe with physical laws. All these man-made laws and that precisely dick. The only law that applies are laws of physics. Yeah. So at the end of the day, all your peaceful protests, marches, petitions, voting, precisely dick. They achieve Zippo. Do you know why?
Blimey,
at the end
Jeff.
of the day, no, seriously.
We've got to try,
listen,
mate. Got to try. Look,
trying this, you can carry on, but where do you draw the line when none of it? Where do you draw the line?
Okay. Look, I want to say a big cheers to Glenn Rocky Teal, Predator Jeff, to Simon Dawson, to Thomas Whitelock, and especially to Tracy Blackwell, to Nicola Sowles and Ian Rice. Actually, Nicola didn't say anything, bless her, but I know that she was there.
Good evening, everyone.
And Sam Jane Pearson as well. Thanks, Sam. Bless you, mate. And see you
It's time
tomorrow.
we faced up to reality, Ollie. It's time
Jeff. Yeah, cool. Okay, yeah, mate. Okay.
Can I just say before we go,
Tracy, Sam.
Everyone needs to make sure that they share all these videos from these marches.
Right.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Share.
shares,
Right.
and everybody else shares, and they need to be shared so that everybody sees them.
Ruined my outro. Look, this has been Daily Chaos. I'm Olly Connelly. See you tomorrow at 7. God bless you. And yeah, that's the 19th. Yeah, okay. See you tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.
See you tomorrow.
Here's to us and bugger plutocracy, yeah?